the VP's husband slapped her in the face so hard I spun around. It's a hard slap. So why is she breaking her silence? Well, because she's disgusted by his fake perfect spouse persona. Doug got out of line, comes up to me, turns me around by my right shoulder, and I'm completely caught off guard. Whoa! And then she goes, whoa! Right? She spins around a full 360. She says, I'm in utter shock. I can't believe it. Kamala's husband's ex emerges, breaking her silence, telling us the story about what happened when Doug, the VP's husband, slapped her in the face so hard I spun around. It's a hard slap. So why is she breaking her silence? Well, because she's disgusted by his fake perfect spouse persona, which is perfect for the Harris brand because the entire operation is fake. Here's the story. Exclusive breaking from the Daily Mail says the ex-girlfriend has spoken exclusively to the Daily Mail, claiming that Doug slapped her in the face so hard she spun around. Now, they have actually had her come forward now. She is a successful New York attorney in New York. She's remaining anonymous because she probably doesn't want to practice to get obliterated over this stuff, and says, decided to speak out after Doug denied the claims through a spokesman, right? We read the story. Then he denied it. She says, no, you didn't, buddy. Emhoff's accuser, who Daily Mail is naming only as Jane, initially declined to comment on the record, but Emhoff's denial and his alleged hypocrisy by claiming to be a feminist in media interviews finally became too much for her. Doug's victim, Jane, says, what's frightening for a woman that's been on the other end of it is watching a completely fabricated persona being portrayed. He's being held out to be the antithesis of who he actually is. And that's utterly shocking, she said. Here's a photo of her and him together, pre-backhand probably. Ex-girlfriend of Kamala is naming herself only as Jane. Here's another photo. Apparently they were together, obtained by the Daily Mail. She's remaining anonymous. Now she's speaking out. Now, she's speaking out at a time that's relevant to the election, right? Because he's now running to be the first gentleman. Daily Mail broke the story October 2nd by reporting accounts from two friends she told immediately after the incident, and a third she told in 2018, the documents say, evidencing her relationship with him. So then people will say, well, why didn't she bring this up earlier? And maybe it's because she's watching him turn into this feminist hero. And she's like, wait a minute, that's not true at all. So she's correcting the record on that, right? And you can compare and contrast this to the claims about Trump and that other model that apparently was groped or something 31 years ago, right? And they keep dragging this stuff out, but this is a new claim that we haven't heard about. Now, the bombshell allegations, which followed in August, said that Doug cheated on his first wife, impregnated the nanny. No one on the left covered it. He admitted the affair in a statement in August, but his spokesman gave only a short denial of the alleged violence to a politics news site a day after they reported on the slap. In a statement to Semaphore, so Doug's people responded and said, this report is untrue. Any suggestion that he would or ever has hit a woman is false. So he responds, Trump got sued for defamation over that. I wonder if they'll sue him. Emhoff, the Harris campaign, and White House, they failed to respond to comments, but the second gentleman has since continued to brag. He's out there talking about his long-held feminist values in softball media interviews with Jen Psaki. Jane said, every time I see Doug on TV portraying the persona of a perfect spouse and non-toxic man, I wonder if Nadine is watching too and feeling as disgusted as I am. Must be his first wife. Last week, Jane recounted her story, said, Emhoff slapped me so hard I spun around. That Emhoff told her that he was accused by his mistress of causing her to miscarry their baby. Emhoff told her he was accused by his mistress of causing her to miscarry their baby. Wow, right? That's like pushed her down a flight of stairs or something. Brutal. So now he's this new amazing feminist hero that Jen Psaki loves. Emhoff and Jane got together in 2012 before he met Harris, who he then married in 2014. She said, I was living in New York. Doug was in LA. I met him on Match.com. After work one night, I met him for drinks at a hotel near Times Square. She said Emhoff's odd behavior began immediately when he invited his son Cole to join them about an hour into their date. It was an odd request for a first date, but I also felt bad that his son was walking around the city waiting for his dad to finish his date. So I agreed. In retrospect, should have been a red flag to bring your son here. Jane said their relationship consisted of an intense few months, with Emhoff discussing marriage and children after just a few weeks. He flew me to LA. I stayed in his home for a week. The entire time he was alluding to marriage and having kids. He was totally love bombing me. He grabbed me around the stomach and talked about wanting more babies. Just put some babies in there, he says. It was perfect. Jane said that less than a month into her relationship, she got a lucrative job opportunity in the UK. And Emhoff gave her the impression he was willing to leave his family. Okay, I'll come with you. I love you. I'll move to London. He was really pushing me to pursue it, and he seemed like he was willing to come with me to London. He was ready to uproot, even though he had a family and he still had children in junior high. Emhoff has previously been dubbed as a wife guy and a mensch, a Yiddish term for an honorable, kind man. He's being held out to be the antithesis of who he actually is. And that's utterly shocking, said Jane, Doug's victim. Here's some airline receipts. Emhoff's first wife and mother of his 2 kids, Kirsten, so Nadine may have been the babysitter, had filed to end their marriage 3 years earlier after splitting with him a month before, but Jane said she got the impression that Emhoff still felt a debt to his ex and decided to ask him about it during her LA trip. So she says, I flew out there. We were in Santa Monica. He was driving his fancy car, and so I just straight out asked him. I said, I feel like you're on the back foot in divorce, like you're trying to make up for something. What's up? Like, she's got the upper hand. Like, why don't you guys just get a simple divorce? Like, what's the problem? Like, what's all this about? All I did was ask him one simple question, and he told me the whole story. He just like told me everything. Without skipping a beat and staring straight ahead into the road, he said, yeah, well, I had an affair with our daughter's teacher, and that subsequently she claimed that she got pregnant. So it wasn't just maybe the daughter's teacher. Okay, it wasn't the nanny, it was the daughter's teacher. So he was trying to like elevate it. She said, he's just driving down the road. Oh yeah, I cheated on my wife with the teacher. Anyway, well, that's why it's a problem. He's telling me this very casually, like it's no big deal. She's like, what the hell? He yelled at her. He never said he hit her, but he said he got really angry with her and subsequently claimed that whatever she did, she said, caused her to lose the pregnancy, right? So he's like, well, so I yelled at the teacher after I had an affair with her. She said she was pregnant. I got really angry. And so what happened was she lost the baby and she blames me for losing the baby. And he's telling her the story. He said, she got a lawyer and so she's threatening litigation. Like I killed this kid or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So Jane said, I was flabbergasted. She's sitting there in the passenger seat like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? And I was taken aback by how matter of fact he could talk about it. Just like, yeah, whatever, just impregnated her and now she had a miscarriage. Her life's probably ruined and over. She can go into legal debt and all this. Whatever, just driving down the road. He tried to minimize it. He says there was no proof that the woman, he's like, don't worry, she had never even been pregnant, okay? She's just trying to scam me, right? Because I'm a rich lawyer. Now, to be honest, she said, I wanted to believe him at the time because by all appearances, this was turning into a serious relationship. He's like, I kind of like this guy, like wants to have babies and all the things. Now, I had just met his children. I met his parents and many people he worked with at Venable, but I did harbor reservations after this. First wife is Kirsten. This woman over here got cheated on. Hopefully she's recovered and moved on, found somebody much better and more honorable who doesn't beat women. And his daughter's nanny. The story about the slap received little or no coverage from the left. Jane said, every time I see him on TV, I'm disgusted. Daily Mail approached Naylor about the relationship and the baby. She said, I'm freaked out right now. Now, this is curious too. Jane said that Emhoff told her he settled with Naylor. He's like, I just paid her 80 grand. I had her sign an NDA and that's it. So she's not talking about it, just paid her off. Now, the Los Angeles Police Department has records and the Daily Mail got their hands on some under California Public Records Access Law. They show that police were called to a house where Naylor was living at the time she was allegedly pregnant. Police were called. June 28, 2009. The call out was given priority level 3, which means life-threatening emergency. Life-threatening emergency, turn your license sirens on and get there immediately. LAPD didn't give any more information about that, but maybe that was the stair incident. Hours after the Daily Mail published the story revealing the claims that he impregnated his daughter's grade school teacher and part-time nanny, the second gentleman gave a statement. He says, yeah, that's true. We did have an affair, but they didn't mention anything else. Jane said Emhoff's disclosure to her in April 2012 about his affair gave her pause about the relationship, but she had already booked tickets for the two of them to attend the star-studded Amphar Gala in the south of France. I already bought these plane tickets, dang it, and I didn't buy the insurance. I had already planned and paid to go to this event, and he was already invited, so I went ahead and brought him. She said the trip was a fairy tale at first. She mingled with A-list celebrities at the May 24th event, red ball gown, Emhoff looked good in the dapper tuxedo, but she said it turned into a nightmare. 3 3 a.m. They joined a long, chaotic line for a taxi outside the hotel to return to their lodgings in the next town over. Said, I decided to go up to the valet and give them $100 to get out of this line. And that didn't work out. Nice hotel. Here's the email. Hey, sweetie, we aren't staying at the Negresco because the rooms are uber expensive, but I was able to book a room at the Concord, a couple of blocks down on the same street. And so she's like, here, I also attached our itinerary. Unfortunately, we have to leave a day earlier than you so that Doug can be back in LA for his daughter's birthday. Smooches. Now, I don't know who this is being sent to, but anyways. Yeah, so there's the event. Harvey Weinstein was there at the event. She says, I put my hand on the valet's shoulder to tell him, with my $100, could you please get me a car as soon as possible? Now, as I'm talking to him, Doug got out of line, comes up to me, turns me around by my right shoulder, and I'm completely caught off guard, and I'm not bracing, right? So he's like grabbing her right shoulder. She's here. He grabs that shoulder, spins her around like this. She's in 4-inch heels. She's looking great, wearing a full gown. It's like 2, 3 in the morning. Spins her around by the shoulder, and he slaps me so hard I spun around. So pulls that shoulder, and then she goes, right? She spins around a full 360. She says, I'm in utter shock. I can't believe it. There had been no fight, no argument. It had been a completely fantastic event. I'm so furious. The only thing I could think of was to slap him back. I slapped him on one side and on the other cheek with the other hand. And in that moment, she says, his mask dropped and I saw his dark side. You're kidding. All of a sudden, the car is there. The valet's like, get in here. He's like, oh crap, these people are going at it. She says, I intended to go back to the hotel without him, so I was shutting the car door, but he forced his way into the car, which I did not want. It's dark. I don't speak French. My friends we're with are off having an amazing time. I'm embarrassed, humiliated. This amazing experience turned into this violent spectacle. I'm sitting there. I can't believe he just slapped me. I think I said to him in the car, what the hell is wrong with you? Why did you do that? And the only thing I could get out of him was he thought I was hitting on the valet. Jane said she called a businessman friend in New York from the cab to tell him what happened. The friend confirmed the call. That's like real time. Says, this was the first time I saw Doug's ugly side, said Jane. I was in shock. I wanted somebody to know where I was and what happened. I was freaked out because I thought I knew this person, but I don't, and he's in the car with me. I also wanted Doug to see me on the phone telling somebody. There's Doug. Love first. Unless you're talking to a ballet, then it's a backhand. Jane said the next day Emhoff was unapologetic, telling her in a casual manner that they were even and referencing her return slaps using a tennis metaphor. Don't worry about it. You got one across the court and down the line. All right, so you hit me back, so just deal with it. The New York attorney told Daily Mail that after the shocking attack, she began to see past behavior of Emhoff in a new light. And I guess she's stuck over there in Paris with the dude. As well as questioning his alleged version of his affair with Naylor, she also recalled a weird incident at their hotel. We went out and sat outside on the loungers. I'm in a bikini. He wanted to take a picture of me and I didn't think anything of it. Later on, he sent me a couple pictures. Now, the picture he took of me did not include my head. I was like, where's my head in this photo? And he was just giggling like a pubescent boy. It was gross. I felt humiliated. In retrospect, I believe he was intentionally objectifying me to diminish me. Wow. That dude has some sick, twisted insecurities in his brain. That's the kind of person he is, right? And you kind of know these people. Interesting. So he probably hates women. Earlier this month, Daily Mail revealed claims that Emhoff's former colleagues at his ex-law firm also say he was misogynistic and inappropriate, bragging to top firm partners that he yelled at a woman to put her in her place. We read that whole story. Jane said that the alleged behavior fit what she knew of him, but not the one that he's presenting now. She said that the week after the slapping incident, she told a friend who worked with Emhoff at Venable about it at the law firm. The woman responded that Emhoff had a bad reputation with women at the law firm. Here's Jen Psaki, faking everything. You're so amazing. Why do you love women so much? Said it was very hurtful at the time, but I'm proud of how I responded in real time to the unexpected assault. Yeah, I mean, she was great. Called somebody. I don't know, Paris would arrest the dude or whatever, but I had never really wanted to talk about Doug slapping me, to be honest with you, because I was with him for a few months. It was this one moment, and it was enough to wake me up and leave. Now, in retrospect, it was the best thing that possibly could have happened because his mask dropped, and I realized I shouldn't waste another moment with him. The two never spoke after France, Jane said. There were 2 texts where she requested he paid her money that he owed. She said, will you Venmo me that money, you abusive loser? And he requested a suit that he left behind, which she promptly threw in the trash. Good for her. Yeah, I'll ship it right over to you in the garbage. But when she read Emhoff was dating then California Attorney General Kamala Harris, it all came flooding back. I just got this sinking feeling like, oh my God, she's engaged to this guy. My first thought was she clearly has not done due diligence on him. Obviously, she's Kamala. And I thought he's putting the hard sell on her like he did with me. I was wondering, does she know? Jane said she felt compelled to tell her best friend, a female top executive, her story about Emhoff in 2018 after they watched Harris grill Supreme Court Brett Kavanaugh justice. Remember that? Kamala was going after Brett Kavanaugh for like not being good with women. And okay, Doug is backhand. It wasn't actually a backhand. It sounds like it was just a regular old slap, right? A backhand, probably like that. Although it could have been a backhand. He could have grabbed the right shoulder like this and then backhanded. What? It's not funny. I'm glad that she threw his suit out and made him pay some money back. He should be criminally charged for that, right? That's assault. That's domestic violence. An email to a friend and fellow attendee and other pictures show the date and the location of the photo. So there's Doug and his ex-wife, Kirsten, ended their 16 marriage because he's a cheater. Footage obtained by the Daily Mail from the red carpet shows that Emhoff was there in the background, and the material helps confirm aspects of Jane's story. Jane dismissed any claims that her allegations were politically motivated. Said, are you kidding me? We're registered Democrats. We voted for Joe Biden, and we donated $10,000 to Biden's campaign. There it is. They're like Democrats because they're like powerful lawyers, and a lot of powerful lawyers, most are Democrats for some stupid reason. Now, I've recounted the same story for years. I've told this story before he even became famous, and these show, yeah, they're registered Democrats. Jane added that after reading the Daily Mail story, she felt validated about the nanny. Now, I've been telling this story to my friends. I kept saying, this is a big deal. Why doesn't anybody in the media care? Well, because they're covering up for him. Not a single reporter has directly asked Doug about any of these allegations. When some news organization re-reported your reporting, they even left out the claim that the teacher had become pregnant, she said. I was livid. It's just so clear what's happening. I'm so disgusted. Well, maybe she'll vote for Trump this time, baby. Jane said she hopes coming forward now, albeit anonymously, will help set the record straight and prompt a thorough investigation of Doug for being an abuser of women. Another shocking story, of course, as she's finding out the Democrats really don't care about women that much. They just care about talking like they care about women. They like sitting down with Jen Psaki and having her and Doug play patty cake with each other on their MSNBC shows to fake out their audience, fake out their viewers, as Doug runs around, continues his misogyny in secret.